Welcome back to the Alter Ego Bros. I'm Andy, that's Nick, and today we're going to be reviewing Hokum. But first, don't forget to like and subscribe, and make sure you leave a comment because YouTube really loves that.
So do we.
I gave Hokum a 7 out of 10. I did like this movie. I like the original storyline. I needed more from it in several areas to really bump it up there. But there were a few points that I did praise this movie. We'll get into those details a little bit later.
That's funny you should say that, because I thought you were going to say that about this movie. I was watching, I was like, I think that's where Andy's head is going. And I gave Hokum a 9 out of 10.
Ooh, I was so ready for you to be like a 1 or something. It's like, here we go again.
The story is where it lost points for me. I agree that it was good, but it needed something else to elevate it. And as far as the other points for me, a lot of them are just easy points, and it passed the bar on those for me. So that's why it got up there.
Then let's just dive into the story, shall we?
I wonder what our combined rating would be.
Oh, wait. Fuck, Jesus, we really suck. That gives us a combined channel rating of 8 out of 10.
Welcome.
Okay, so the story. As I mentioned, I think it's a real unique storyline. I believe it's based on the book, right? I double checked that and I forget because I've been busy. It's based on the book, right?
I have no idea. I thought it was original. I didn't think it was based on a book.
It's the anthology of African American humor.
Is completely unrelated.
Never mind. I really liked the story. I thought it was a really unique storyline. One of the areas that I really thought that it really needed to do something for me a bit more was to just, introduce the witch portion of it just a bit more often. It just feels like they restrained from doing that till closer towards the end, which is fine, but when you have a witch that's just slow moving and peeking in and out a little bit, it just that doesn't feel like very much when you're at the climax. That's the stuff that should have been happening an hour ago. Apart from that though, there's just a lot of really typical basic level story tropes with this horror movie, and to me it just doesn't execute well when I just get incredibly frustrated sitting there and just yelling at the characters to break the window open because it's just glass. Even though they put a metal shield in front, there was this spot that he could reach the glass and he could have broken it if he wanted to, and he just didn't. And it just frustrates me when it's if you're actually in this situation, trapped in this, and you need to get out, you're gonna find a way out. The building's made out of paper and toothpicks, right? And I get it's an old Irish building, could be made out of stone, right? But I'm hearing creaking on the floor, so I'm I don't think that's stone under that floor. If you wanted to get out, you could. And it just frustrates me that they never take characters to that level of extreme to be that desperate to just do something and break their bodies in order to get out.
So when I saw this movie and afterwards I'm walking out, I'm like, this reminds me of something. What am I getting the vibes from? And then it hit me. The Others. This Hokum is a great entry-level horror movie, and we don't get a lot of those too often. So if you're growing up or you don't really like gore, I think this is definitely the horror movie for you. There's a lot of creep factor, there's a lot of tension, there is some horror elements that are not typically inside a horror film like this. A lot of them have to do with character actions. And then you realize okay, the witch is after him, but the witch really isn't the main threat of the story. The main threat is Mal. And he's just the concierge, right? And what a fucking bastard of a dude. You do a full 180 on this dude, and he just keeps digging himself deeper and deeper and becomes completely irredeemable in my eyes. And I really enjoyed that. I thought that was very fun. But what did get me, however, is that chalk circle was not a circle. It's an oval! I kept hearing SpongeBob in my head that entire time.
I know. The whole time I was thinking sea bears. I was I wonder if it's not a perfect circle, then the witch can get him.
Oh, that would have been epic. That would have been awesome. But I did really like how even in the honeymoon suite, there was a lot of items in there that they made use of. Like they moved around, they picked up stuff, they made, that little button thing out of the clock, which by all means shouldn't have worked, but it was fun, right? It was pretty cool, pretty neat. But yeah, it's got something that it's just not quite to the level of great.
I didn't have a problem with the acting per se, but the main character, I just needed to see something where like he felt or expressed some real emotion, some real anger, or some real just freaked out moments, like he's actually terrified for his life. We never got to that point. I'm not sure if that's an acting choice, but I feel like that's probably a writing and directing choice, because I'm sure Adam Scott, I think he's a great actor and has that capability in him. So I was surprised that we just didn't get to that level and have that moment that made us feel something. And that goes to say for the rest of the characters, it just felt like everything was a bit surface level. I thought the acting was fine, but we never just dove deep into somebody just making us feel something. And what I really wanted was more of the old man. I was like, I bet that guy would make us feel really creeped out and really feel something in this movie. But you see him for a brief moment in the beginning and then just never again. Very weird, considering they bring him up almost constantly.
I think to the contrary, I do think Adam Scott showed some depth with this character, but it's not in the way that you might think. So when we're introduced to him, we don't really know where he's at emotionally, and come to find out he's very depressed. He's missing his mom. He doesn't really care about his dad. He's in a rut with his writing. It's his last book and he can't find an ending for it. And so what does he try to do? He tries to off himself. And he's kind of an asshole about it the entire movie. That was completely fine. I actually enjoyed that his character was very standoffish and an asshole to everybody around him. That was just something we don't really see with main protagonists. Is like, dude, you're kind of a dick, but I'm like all for it. Like, yeah, keep being a dick to these people.
All the way to the very end, too.
All the way to the very end. But the little nuance in there, right, is that throughout this experience, he gets his whiskey spiked, right? And that's what gets him to start seeing the witch and the ghosts and everything coming around. And then he has that much needed moment with his mother's ghost where he was like, it was just an accident. And we start to see him change, right? Even though it's just a little subtly. Even before that, he was feeling really, down about Fiona, who is a person who worked at the hotel who went missing, but she was the one that found him when he was trying to kill himself and pretty much saved his life. So he wanted to go back there and thank her, and now she's missing. And so he was very concerned, still not believing in all of the legends and myths around the hotel. It leads him to Jerry. R.I.P. Jerry. Jerry was the best. I loved him. But there were those subtle changes between the beginning and the end for Ohm. And even when he's talking to the bellboy, like he finally gives in. And he's like, okay, I'll read your script. Like, and I think that's about all the change that we could expect to receive from this character. He's just kind of a dick. And I think people aren't going to 180 overnight. So I thought that was a fresh take, in my opinion, but I can see where other people would be like, he didn't really learn his lesson or anything at all. So
I want to talk about special effects and cinematography kind of together because I thought they go hand in hand. There's this moment that is just still stuck in my mind where you see this creepy children's TV show pop open, and it just, I don't know what effects they did on this, but I don't know how to describe it, so I won't. You just have to go see it. But it is one of the most weird, terrifying, just permanently engraved in my head now moments that I wish I could put into words. I really do, but I just can't. You just have to experience it. And that almost alone, where I was just like, I think I get full points for both of them because it works together. But I thought special effects, they set the tone of the movie very well. The atmosphere, the whole scenery is just a really good setting for this type of movie as well. And I thought the special effects and cinematography just worked hand in hand throughout this whole movie to really describe the story outside of the acting. I
agree. I love that moment with the TV and that person talking. Did you notice that as they were talking and as it like cut away and cut back, more and more teeth started showing up?
I didn't notice more teeth showing up.
It was creepy. That's what got me, is like not only were the eyes like weird, but like eventually it's like an unnatural amount of teeth in his mouth as he's talking and getting more like demonic and stuff. And yeah, there was a lot of attention to detail in the practical effects side of things. One thing that I noticed was that there was a proper amount of dust on everything. Like, it wasn't just like, oh, this is a little dusty. It was like literally lines, like almost an inch worth of dust. And when people went and moved things, you'd see those lines of where their hands were, and you'd see the dust fall off. And it's like, all right, I know you're paying attention here. This makes sense. This is great. And then they get to the standing water, right? That's in the hot tub, jacuzzi, bathtub thing. And oh my God, was that disgusting. Like, that's one of those things, like, just by looking at it, you can kind of smell what it would be like. And when he dove headfirst into that, I was, oh my God, that's worse than the witch. I just let the witch take me at that point. I don't know, man.
That is funny, because as he did that, I was feeling what you're feeling in that moment too, and I just feel like I'd give up. I'd be like, oh, fuck this. Like,
yeah, I'm not going in there.
I'm screwed. My chalk's wet, but it's not wet apparently.
Chalk actually works better wet, so there you
Does
go.
it actually? Okay. Damn, man, we're good with fun facts.
I also liked that in those moments, that specifically when the witch is chasing him through there, she didn't leave a trace. And that kind of goes back to this, like, is she real? Is it part of what he's thinking? On reflection, I think they could have said the part where, like, he got the mushroom whiskey a little earlier so that we as the audience could know that while he's experiencing these supernatural sightings, and be like, is it actually real? Is it in his head? I think that would have been a little bit more compelling and could have bumped up those story numbers for us a little bit more. She's like almost gliding throughout the room, and it was really creepy when she goes into the bathroom and you see her just stretch unnaturally long from where this odd opening is into that bathtub, all the way to like the glass bricks where the bathroom door started, and you can see her looking through there. It was just very uneasy and unnerving, and I think that's really where they excelled with the witch, by not giving you too much of a glimpse of her through the beginning. However, once you see her, she's really not that scary, and I think that falls into the monster trope with horror movies. Like, you really can't show all of your monster, or it becomes less scary the more you do that. So as far as pacing goes, this is a sub 2-hour movie, and I thought this was perfect. Like, it felt like it utilized every minute that it had to a T. There weren't any points where I was confused about editing or anything like that. It was just really tight, really succinct, and I think they did a phenomenal job.
But don't just take our word for it. Let's see what the internet has to say. Looking online, it looks like the audience scored this about a 7.5 out of 10, right in line with us. And critics were an 8.5 out of 10. We're right in the freaking middle, man. Look at that. We have recalibrated. We're back, baby.
We're back.
So let's take a look at a negative review if we can find one. So here's one from Anonymous. 1 out of 10. A total train wreck. If you went into Hokum expecting even a hint of horror or thriller, you're going to be sorely disappointed. This isn't just a miss it's... What? This isn't just a miss it's... Oh, who puts a hyphen there? This isn't just a miss, it's a full-on derailment. The film barely qualifies for either genre, drifting aimlessly with a paper-thin plot and a story that feels like it was never fully developed. Pacing is a major issue. Uh-oh, buddy. It crawls along without building tension, atmosphere, or any real sense of payoff. Instead of suspense, you're left checking how much runtime is left. For something marketed anywhere near horror, it's surprisingly devoid of scares. I've had more genuine jumps on a ghost train at an amusement park. What makes it worse is how it stacks up against other recent misfires like Long Legs, oh no, and somehow it still manages to feel feel just as tedious. At least those films try to lean into a tone. Hokum just feels lost. A 7.2 rating is wildly generous. It honestly raises questions about who's scoring this and why. Save yourself the time, don't bother.
So obviously I disagree with the runtime portion of it, as you just heard. So I'm not going to rehash that stuff. However, I think that Hokum actually builds tension really, really well. Not only in the music side of things, which we really didn't touch on, but there's also just audio that it nails. You didn't feel that. I'm not really sure where it would have lost you, but I did not have that experience.
I think this person just doesn't like the slow tension building psychological horror movies, because that's basically what Longlegs is too. Like I get it. It takes a while to get there, but it really sets up a lot of stuff and a lot of details that are important later on. And I think you made the point of like, this one holds your hand a little bit and it makes it a little bit obvious to you by just kind of telling you up front what's going on versus you having to figure a lot of stuff out. And maybe in that case, this person was just a little bit bored. Like they don't want an entry-level horror film, but that's what they signed up for. Well, that's going to wrap things up for us. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I told you to do that at the beginning. Did you actually do it? Did you forget? Now, as a reminder, you made it this far. You clearly like it enough. Mike. And remember, we're just two regular dudes.
Hokum. Hokum.